Every afternoon at exactly 3:47 p.m., Mr. Khaled does the same thing. The final school bus pulls away, the hallway goes quiet, the classroom is empty, and he just sits there. Not grading papers, not answering emails, not looking at his phone, just sitting. One afternoon, the school custodian walked past his room 3 separate times. Mr. Khaled hadn't moved. Same chair, same paper in front of him, same distant look. The strange part? Everyone thought he was the happiest teacher in the building.
No.
And if you asked Mr. Khaled whether he was unhappy, he would have said no, and he would have meant it. Mr. Khaled wasn't miserable. He wasn't crying himself to sleep. He wasn't having dramatic breakdowns. He showed up every day. Students loved him. Parents trusted him. His coworkers respected him. From the outside, his life looked completely fine. But there were 5 things he had started doing. Small things, subtle things, that quietly told a very different story. And once you notice these patterns, you start seeing them everywhere. Sign 1. They become everyone's anchor. Mr. Khaled never said no. Need someone to cover a class? He'd do it. Need help organizing an event? He'd volunteer. Need advice? Need support? Need a favor? Call Khaled. He became the person everyone relied on. And on the surface, that looks admirable. Sometimes it is. But here's what nobody noticed. The more time he spent solving everyone else's problems, the less time he spent noticing his own. There's a reason some people stay busy helping everybody else. When your entire day is filled with other people's needs, you never have to sit alone with your own. And that feels surprisingly comforting, at least for a while. Sign 2. They stop noticing themselves. In the corner of Mr. Khaled's apartment sat a guitar. 6 months earlier, he played it almost every night. Nothing serious, just for himself. After dinner, a few songs before bed, then one day he skipped it. Then another day. Then another. Until eventually, the guitar became furniture. Nobody decides to stop enjoying the things they love. It usually happens much more quietly than that. You stop reading, stop creating, stop exploring. Stop looking forward to things. Not because you hate them, you just stop reaching for them. And one day you realize you can't remember the last time you did something simply because it made you happy. Sign 3. They start disappearing from the people who know them best. Every Sunday, Mr. Khaled's younger brother called him. Same time, same routine, for years. Lately, the calls kept going to voicemail. Not because they were fighting, not because anything was wrong. Mr. Khaled would always text afterward. Sorry, busy week. Let's talk next Sunday. But next Sunday usually looked exactly like the last one. Because sometimes the hardest people to talk to aren't strangers. They're the people who know you well enough to notice something has changed. The people who might ask questions you're not ready to answer. Sign 4. They become almost too productive. This was the part that confused everyone. Because if Mr. Khaled was struggling, why was he doing more than ever? He volunteered for extra projects, stayed later, worked harder, took on responsibilities nobody asked him to take on. One coworker even joked, "Do you ever go home?" Mr. Khaled laughed, but the truth was, staying busy felt safer than slowing down. Because when you're constantly moving, you don't have to hear the thoughts waiting for you in the quiet. And sometimes productivity isn't a sign that everything is okay. Sometimes it's camouflage. Sign 5. Small things hit harder than they should. One Tuesday, a student forgot a homework assignment. Nothing serious, nothing unusual, but something inside Mr. Khaled snapped. Not outwardly. He didn't yell, didn't lose control, but his jaw tightened, his patience disappeared. And after class ended, he sat alone in the empty room with his head in his hands. It wasn't about the homework. The homework was just the final straw. When someone spends months carrying more than they realize, even tiny things can suddenly feel heavy. Here's what connects all 5 behaviors. They're not random, and they're not personality flaws. They're adaptations, little adjustments people make without realizing it. Sometimes when life feels emotionally heavy for a long time, the mind doesn't wave a giant red flag. It compensates, it distracts itself, it stays busy, it focuses on everyone else. It quietly disconnects from things that once brought joy. Not because the person is weak, because the mind is trying to keep functioning, trying to survive. The problem is, survival and living are not the same thing. And eventually, the gap starts to show. Sometimes it's a guitar collecting dust. Sometimes it's another missed phone call. Sometimes it's 47 silent minutes at an empty desk. If you saw yourself in Mr. Khaled, even in 1 or 2 of these behaviors, don't treat it as a diagnosis. Treat it as information, a signal worth paying attention to. Because the goal isn't to stop being dependable, or kind, or productive. The goal is to make sure you haven't disappeared somewhere underneath those roles. Tonight, ask yourself one simple question. Not, am I unhappy? That's too big, too easy to avoid. Instead ask, when was the last time I did something simply because I wanted to? And if you can't remember, that answer might be telling you more than you think. If this video resonated with you, let me know in the comments, which of these 5 signs stood out the most? And if you're interested in understanding the hidden patterns behind human behavior, subscribe for more stories like this. I'll see you in the next one.